Good afternoon and welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. It is the second day of trading this particular week, Tuesday, the 8th day of December. I will be giving you an overview of what was happening yesterday on the NSE, what is happening today, but do you know what I'm excited about for the show today? We'll be doing a recap of the month of November and what the expectations are for this month of December. I will be introducing the guest in a few, but first, let's take a look at what was happening yesterday on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Well, this week it does look like things have actually normalized. Last week we had a bit of heavy hitters buying up Safaricom and pushing up turnover. This week it does begin to feel like we have gone back to the original days of December and the market volume has declined by a material sum comparing yesterday and last week's trade on Friday. More specifically, we did see a 92% drop in turnover for the day, with yesterday trading 86 million shillings compared to 1.08 billion, which is what was traded last week on Friday. Tuesday, today, I've just looked at the market. It's still pretty quiet. I think the largest trade we have seen is Equity Bank trading 8 million shares, slightly above its daily traded average, but outside of that, very negligible volumes on the other blue chip counters. Now let's take a look at the key parameters that we have been tracking on the NSE and what was happening to the indices. A bit of weakness yesterday there on all the indices, closing down in the red. The NSE all share down 1.37 percentage points to close the day at 146. NSE 20 down 3.64 percentage points to close the day at 1,782, while the NSE 25 share was down 19.32 percentage points to close the day at 3,293 points. What was happening on turnover? 86 million, the start of a week. It was a blue Monday, as would have been expected. The only thing is that last week we did see some heavy hitters come through that particular day. Now, yesterday, 86 million is the volume that was traded. On your screen, you can actually see 1.08. That's the trade volume for last week on Friday. But yesterday, being the 7th of December, we did see a 92% drop in terms of turnover. And we did see that the market traded 86 million shillings worth of turnover. Let's see what the next set of statistics have to show for us. Top gainers, top losers, as well as the top movers for that particular day. Safaricom has touched a new high of 33 shillings. Last time we saw this price point was in January of this year, prior to COVID, BC we call it here, and it did trade about 1.2 million shares for a turnover of 41 million. BAT Kenya has been gaining ground over the last couple of days in terms of activity. 67,000 shares were traded at a price of 390 for a cumulative consideration of 26 million. KCB Group there and equity negligible volumes, 153 for KCB, equity group 81,500. Bamburi Cement was also one of our interesting picks yesterday. It traded 56,400 shares and it's now shy of the 30 shilling mark. But on the fact that it has actually rallied from 20 to 30, that's a 50% gain in less than a quarter. We've actually been seeing a bit of profit taking from the foreign investors who are actually sellers on this particular stock yesterday, whereas the local investors were buyers at the price point of 30 shillings per share. Let's take a look at what was happening in as far as the price movement is concerned. But before the price, we have the top movers there. Safaricom Kenya Power, Nairobi Business Ventures 245,000, KCB Group 153, ABSA 122. Let's take a look at the price movement over the day. Price movement there, Nairobi Business Ventures recouped prior day losses and it gained 8.37 percentage points to close the day at 4.66. Olympia Capital, some slight uptick there, 7.76 percentage point gain to 2.5. BK Group actually has been continuing to gain on foreign interest and it's now at 16 shillings per share. Let's see who the top losers for the day were. The top losers, TransCentury, lost 9 percentage points. I think the most interesting one from the chart that you are looking at is Absa New Gold, which actually tracks the global price for gold, and it's now down 3.3 percentage points to trade at 1,890. British American Tobacco did trade. It was one of the top trades for the day, but in as much as it was one of the top trades, it lost ground on price, shedding 2.44 percentage points to close the day at 3.9. And Kenya Power lost 2.24 percentage points to close the day at 1.31 shillings. That's pretty much what was happening on the NSE yesterday. Turnover dropped 92 percentage points to close at 86 million. It also looks like a very slow day today, signaling to us that possibly the buyers of Safaricom, who have been in the market and going hard for the last 1.5 weeks, are possibly at the tail end of that acquisition. But that said, we've actually seen a lot of activity today on equity, which is now traded 8 million shares at a price point of between 34.5 and 34.75. And we will give you more detail about that in our next segment. We take a break. When we come back, we will be sitting with Ms. Stella Wambugu, who is a senior trader at Standard Investment Bank. She will be taking us through the in-house report that that looks at what was happening on the NSE for the month of November, and she will also be able to give us some stock picks for the month of December. Let's have a look at what this report has to say after the break.